Good day to everyone. Today, we will continue our discussion on the Bangsamoro Peace Process Agreement, building upon our previous classes. But before delving into today's topic, let's briefly recap our previous discussions. The 1976 Tripoli Agreement stands as a significant milestone in the history of the peace process, signed on the December 23, 1976 in Tripoli, Libya. It marked a pivotal moment with Carmelo Z. Barbero representing the government of the Philippines and Nur Miswari of the Moro National Liberation Front. The agreement outlined the plans for autonomous administrative divisions for Muslims in the southern Philippines. The key provisions included are the establishment of an autonomous government, judicial system for Sharia law, and the formation of special security forces and the commitment to observe a ceasefire. Following the Tripoli Agreement, the process progressed further with the Jakarta Accord or the final peace agreement. To provide us with a concise recap of the Jakarta Accord, I would like to invite Ms. Ayana Sulaiman.
Good day everyone, my name is Iyana A. Sulaiman, and for my report, I'll be discussing the Final Peace Agreement of 1996, also known as the Jakarta Accord. So, the Final Peace Agreement of 1996 was signed on September 2, 1996 in Manila, Philippines by Manuel Yan, representing the government of the Philippines, and Nur Miswari of the Moro National Liberation Front, MNLF. This agreement was the result of the 4 years of peace talks and was designed to bring about the full implementation of the 1976 Tripoli Agreement. The final peace agreement of 1996 divided the mechanism for implementation of the 1976 Tripoli Agreement into two phases.
Following the Jakarta Accord, the subsequent agreement is the Bangsamoro Framework Agreement on the Bangsamoro. This framework represents a commitment by both the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front or the MILF to establish a new autonomous political entity in Muslim Mindanao. The aim is to replace the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao or the ARM with a system known as BARM or the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, which is envisioned to be empowered and equitable. In the framework agreement on the Bangsamoro, there are three powers shared by the BARM and the national government. So first is the shared powers. Shared powers mean that the both BARM and the national government have a say in certain areas like taxation and education. However, the BARM has more freedom to make its own choices in these areas compared to other local governments. This setup aims to give the Bangsamoro people more on control over their affairs while still being part of the larger nation. And next is the reserve powers. The reserve powers, those that only the national government can handle, such as a building, a military, or making agreements with other countries. These powers are kept by the national government to ensure that the country remains strong and unified, especially in areas crucial for national security and international relation. And also, the exclusive powers. The exclusive powers, it refers to the authority held solely by the BARM government. For example, the BARM can create its own taxes and manage its finances independently. This autonomy allows the BARM to make decisions to the needs of its people and contributes to its self-governance and deployment. So let's proceed now in the next topic. In the framework agreement, there are annexes of powers where the Bangsamoro will have a access. So first is the annex on transitional arrangements and modalities. In this annex, it is the roadmap, which means it provides the blueprint for replacing the ARM with the new BARM, essentially the plan of how the transition should happen. And also the basic law. This is like the BARM's constitution. It outlines the fundamental rules, powers, and how the BARM government will function. And also the exit agreement. This marks the official end of the transition process. It includes things like finalizing the decommission of former fighters to ensure a peaceful shift of power. And also in this annex also, it tackles the transitional mechanisms and modalities. It is the detailed steps, deadlines, and specific bodies set up to actually manage the transition process, ensuring a smooth handover from the arm to the BARM. So the next annex on the framework agreement is the annex on revenue generation and wealth sharing. In this annex, it includes the full fiscal autonomy, which means that the BARM has complete control over its finances, including the authority to determine its budget, manage revenue streams, and allocate funds according to its priorities. This autonomy allows the BARM to make independent financial decisions without external interference. And also, they have also the access to the taxation and other sources of revenue. The BARM has the power to the taxes and generate revenue through various means beyond taxation. This includes the fees, charges, and income from economic activities within its jurisdiction or within its area. Diversifying revenue sources helps sustain the BARM's financial stability and reduce dependency on any single income stream. And also in this annex, the wealth sharing, it means that the distribution of revenues generated from natural resources within the BARM's territory. It likely involves agreements between the BARM and the central government on how revenues from resources such as the mineral, oil, or gas are shared to ensure equitable benefits for both parties. And also, in this annex, fund transfers from the central government, which means the central government will provide financial support to the BARM through fund transfers. These transfers could be in the form of grants, subsidies, or allocation to supplement the BARM's revenue and supports its development initiative. And also in this annex, the Intergovernmental Fiscal Policy Board. This board is likely to establish to oversee fiscal policies and coordination between the BARM and the national government. It may serve as a platform for negotiation, collaboration, and decision-making regarding fiscal matters, ensuring coherence and efficiency in financial management across different levels of government. So next is the annex on the power sharing. In this annex, just like what I have tackled earlier, the reserve powers which will the framework agreement on the Bangsamoro, which is the different types of powers that govern what the BARM and national government can control. Some powers are reserved solely for the national government and some shared between the BARM and the national government, and some are exclusive to the BARM, just like what I have tackled earlier. Also in this annex, the IGR principle. These are the principles guiding how the BARM can generate its own revenue, or from that abbreviation, internal government revenue. It outlines the rules and standards to ensure that revenue generation is fair, transparent, and effective, allowing the BARM to sustainably fund its operations and projects. And also in the governance structure. In this annex, this describes the organizational framework of the BARM government, including its branches, institutions, and how they function. It provides clarity of the roles and the responsibilities of different bodies within the BARM government system. And also the powers that already devolved. This indicates that the certain powers have already been transferred from the national government to the BARM, These transferred powers will give the BARM greater opportunity and autonomy in specific areas of governments, allowing it to make decisions to the needs of its people. And the last annex is the annex on the normalization. The goal of this annex is to guarantee human security within the Bangsamoro region. Human security means ensuring the safety and well-being of the individual within its jurisdiction. And also, the components of the normalization, it outlines the key elements involved in the normalization process. It likely includes disarming the fighters, improving security measures, providing support and opportunities for former combatants to reintegrate to civilian life, addressing historical grievances, and promoting reconciliation among different groups within the Bangsamoro community. Also, the existing and plan mechanism. This section discusses the methods already used and those planned for establishing peace and stability within the Bangsamoro region. It includes efforts like disarming the fighters and enhancing security measures, as well as future initiatives to be set up for effective monitoring and implementation of normalization processes. And also, the addendum on the Bangsamoro waters and zones of joint cooperation is included in the framework agreement. In the Bangsamoro waters, it means to specific maritime areas under the jurisdiction of the Bangsamoro region, extending from its coastlines. It outlines the boundary within the Bangsamoro has authority over maritime activities. And also, the zones of joint cooperation. Uh, it is the special zones designated within or beyond Bangsamoro waters where both the Bangsamoro and the national government collaborate on important matters. These zones aim to facilitate cooperations in areas such as fisheries, environmental protection, and the movement of the people and goods. And lastly, the joint body for zones of joint cooperation. It refers to the governing body comprising the representatives from both the Bangsamoro and the national government. And this body is responsible for managing the zones of joint cooperation, making decisions regarding the use and sharing to ensure mutual benefit and effective cooperation. So, to wrap it up, which means that in the framework agreement of the Bangsamoro, uh, it will likely to help improve the economic and the safety status within the Bangsamoro region by the collaboration of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao and the national government. So following the framework on the Bangsamoro, the next is the CAB or the Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro, which will be discussed by the Nathaniel M. Abdul Karim.
Hi, hello, mabuhay. I am Nathaniel M. Abdul Karim, the reporter 2.3. In this video, I am going to discuss about the Comprehensive Agreement of the Bangsamoro 2014. Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro of 2014. Building upon the FAB, this agreement provides more detailed provisions for the establishment of the BARM. It outlined the power-sharing arrangement between the national government and the Bangsamoro government, as well as the commissioning of MILF combatants. The Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro is a final peace agreement signed between the government of the Philippines and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front on March 27, 2014 at the Malacanang Palace in Manila. Under the arrangement, the Islamic separatists would turn over their firearms to a third party, which would be selected by the rebels and the Philippine government. The MILF agreed to decommission its armed wing, the Bangsamoro Islamic Armed Forces or VIAF. In return, the government would establish an autonomous Bangsamoro. Power sharing was a central point to the autonomy redesign. The agreement would pave the way for the creation of new Muslim autonomous entity called the Bangsamoro, under a law to be approved by the Philippine Congress. The following agreement between the parties appended here to constitute integral parts of these comprehensive agreements. The first agreement is Agreement for the General Cessation of Hostilities signed on July 18, 1997 in Cagayan de Oro City, Philippines. The GRP and MILF, through their undersigned authorized representative, agree as they hereby agree on the following. The first is to commit the armed forces of the GRP and the MILF to a general cessation of hostilities. The second one is to direct the respective subcommittee on cessation of hostilities to meet on July 30, 1997 and on such dates thereafter, but not to exceed 2 months, to draw and finalize the guidelines and ground rule for the implementation of this agreement. And the last one is to resume and proceed with the formal peace talk in a venue to be mutually agreed upon between the government of the Philippines and the MILF panel. Second, general framework of agreement of intent between the government of the Philippines and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front signed on August 27, 1998 in Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao, Philippines. The government of the Philippines and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, herein referred to as the parties, recognizing the need for a negotiated political settlement to bring an end to the armed conflict in Mindanao, desiring to contribute toward that end and to promote an enduring peace and stability in Mindanao. The third one is Agreement, the General Framework on the Resumption of Peace Talk, signed on March 24, 2001 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The parties hereby agree as follows. The parties agree to resume the stalled peace negotiations immediately after the signing of this agreement, and continue the same from where it had stopped before April 27, 2000 until they shall have reached a negotiated political settlement of the Bangsamoro problem. The MILF shall recognize its own peace panel forthwith to meet with its GRP counterpart, and this shall be announced to the public at the soonest time possible. In conjunction with its formation of its peace panel, the MILF shall reciprocate the GRP's supervision of offensive military operation or SOMO with the declaration of its own SOMO. The parties commit to honor, respect, and implement all past agreements and other supplementary agreements signed by them. Agreement on peace between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, signed on June 22, 2001 in Tripoli, Libya. The parties have agreed as follows. A. Security aspect. In accordance with the incremental characteristic of peace process and agreement on the general framework for the resumption of the peace talks, the parties, as represented by their respective peace panel, consider that normalization in conflict affect areas can be achieved if certain principles and guidelines of conduct and action are adhered to by the parties. B. Rehabilitation aspect. In order to pave the way for relief and rehabilitation of evacuees and implementation of development projects in the areas affected by the conflict. C. Ancestral domain aspect. On the aspect of ancestral domain, the parties, in order to address the humanitarian and economic need of the Bangsamoro people and preserve their social and cultural heritage. D. Activation of committees. Immediately upon signing of this agreement, the parties hereby agree to activate working committee for the purpose of discharging their mandates, particularly the implementation of all agreements between the parties. C. Acknowledgement. The parties acknowledge the leadership of President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo in pursuing an all-out peace policy in Mindanao. The fifth one, Declaration of Continuity for Peace Negotiation between the Government of the Republic of the Philippines and Moro Islamic Liberation Front, signed on June 3, 2010 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The parties took note of the agreements on the terms of reference of the civilian protection component of the IMT and the implementing guidelines of the projects on the clearing of landmines and exploded ordnance signed on the 5th of May as part of the overall gains since 1997, related to their determination to build on previous achievement and intend to move the GRP and the MILF peace process forward into the next steps to bring about a political settlement. The last one. The GRP and MILF decisions points on principles as of April 2012, signed on April 24, 2012 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The parties agree to the following principles, which will further guide discussions on the substantive agenda of the negotiations. This preliminary list does not contain all points so far agreed upon and does not preclude future agreements on other key points. The parties recognize Bangsamoro identity and the legitimate grievances and claims of the Bangsamoro people. The parties agree that the status quo is unacceptable and that the parties will work for the creation of a new autonomous political entity in place of the arm. The parties agree to the continuity of negotiations in the context of agreed documents. The parties agreed that the new autonomous political entity should have a ministerial form of government. The parties agrees to the need for a transition period and the institution of transitional mechanisms in order to implement the provisions of the agreements.
Good day everyone, I am Farah Alhamdi Kasan, so we will tackle about the Bangsamoro Organic Law or BOL in 2018. So Bangsamoro Organic Law enacted as a result of the CAB, Comprehensive Agreement of the Bangsamoro. The BOL served as the legal framework for the establishment of the BARM. It provided for the creation of a parliamentary form of government in the region and granted it greater fiscal autonomy and power over areas such as education, health, and natural resources. So, the Bangsamoro Organic Law or the Batayang Batas para sa Relihiyong Otonomo ng Bangsamoro, also known as the Bangsamoro Basic Law, BBL, are officially designated as Republic Act number 11054, is a Philippine law that provides for the establishment of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The organic law for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao provide that the Bangsamoro government shall establish, manage, and support a complete and integrated system of quality education, which shall be a subsystem of the national education system. This act shall apply to Bangsamoro education system consisting of all education system including formal, non-formal, and informal, also public and private learning institution in all level, basic, higher, technical, and madaris education. From the word madaris is the plural form of the Arabic word madrasa, which means school. The purpose of this organic law is to establish a political entity, provide for its basic structure of government in recognition of the justness and legitimacy of the cause of the Bangsamoro people and the aspiration of Muslim Filipinos and all indigenous indigenous cultural communities in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. To, sec- to secure their identity and posterity, allowing for meaningful self-governance within the framework of the Constitution and the national sovereignty as well as territorial integrity of the Republic of the Philippines. Also, the right thus the Bangsamoro Organic Law recognized for the Bangsamoro people is self-governance. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region is free to pursue its political, economic, social, and cultural development as provided for in this organic law.
So that ends our discussion for today's video. So we hope that you learn valuable insights about our video about the Bangsamoro Peace Process Agreement. So that's all. Thank you for watching.